You think you're safe in the gym because you warm up and use good form? Think again. The real dangers aren't the obvious ones. They're the silent injury traps you don't see coming. Weak tendons, imbalances, hidden movement flaws. And that's just the beginning. There are plenty more mistakes that slowly wear your body down until bam, you're sidelined. But don't worry, I've got you. Today, we're exposing all the overlooked mistakes that could be putting you at risk and how to fix them before they take you down. You're hitting the gym, lifting heavy, feeling strong. But here's the problem. Your big muscles might be taking over, while your stabilizer muscles are asleep at the wheel. And that's where injuries creep in. See, your stabilizers, those tiny muscles in your shoulders, core, and ankles, aren't flashy. You don't feel them working like you do with squats or bench presses. But when they're weak, your body compensates in all the wrong ways. Your shoulders shift under a heavy press, your knees wobble during squats, and suddenly, your joints take the hit. And here's the worst part. You don't even notice it happening until you're injured. That's why guys with monster bench presses still end up with shoulder impingements, or why lifters who crush their deadlifts wake up with lower back pain. The fix: stop ignoring unilateral training. Things like single leg deadlifts, Bulgarian split squats, and single arm presses. These exercises force your stabilizers to wake up and do their job. Add them in, and you'll not only lift stronger, but safer. Because when your stabilizers are solid, your entire body moves the way it's supposed to. No more injuries sneaking up on you. Ready for the next mistake? Let's keep going. So, you've started fixing those weak stabilizers. Great. But now, let's talk about something you probably don't even think about. Your grip. Yeah, your hands. Because here's the deal. If your grip is weak, your entire lift is compromised before you even start. Think about it. Every pulling movement, deadlifts, rows, pull-ups, relies on your grip strength. If your hands and forearms give out before your back or legs do, guess what? You start compensating. You round your back, shrug your shoulders, and force your body into bad positions just to keep holding onto the weight. That's how injuries happen. And it's not just about pulling exercises. A weak grip messes with your pressing too. If you can't maintain a solid grip on the bar during bench presses or overhead lifts, your wrists and elbows take unnecessary strain. Over time, that leads to nagging pain and eventually serious injuries. The fix? Train your grip like any other muscle. Add farmer walk, dead hangs, towel pull-ups, and hand gripper training to your routine. When your grip is solid, your entire body moves better, lifts safer, and performs stronger. And just wait, because the next mistake, it's even sneakier. Let's go. Alright, so now your stabilizers are firing and your grip is solid. But there's another silent problem creeping up: the weakness of your tendons and ligaments. Unlike muscles, which adapt relatively quickly to training, your connective tissues, the stuff actually holding your joints together, take way longer to strengthen. So if you're constantly pushing heavier and heavier weights without giving your tendons time to catch up, you're setting yourself up for chronic pain, or worse, a major tear. Ever heard of someone snapping a tendon out of nowhere? It wasn't out of nowhere. It was years of overloading without proper adaptation. The solution? Slow things down. Literally. Slow eccentric reps, like controlling the weight down on squats and bench presses, and isometric holds, pausing mid-rep. Force your tendons and ligaments to adapt and grow stronger. And here's a pro tip: don't max out too often. Your muscles might handle it, but your connective tissues need more time to recover. Play the long game, and you'll keep lifting pain-free for years to come. And speaking of long-term damage, let's talk about something you probably ignore: your feet. Think about it. Your feet are your foundation. If they're weak, everything above them suffers. But most people treat their feet like an afterthought, stuffing them into squishy, over-padded shoes that completely kill stability. That might be fine for walking around, but in the gym? Weak feet lead to unstable squats, bad knee tracking, and even lower back pain. If your arches collapse or your toes can't grip the floor properly, your knees cave in, your hips compensate, and your entire movement chain gets thrown off. That's how you end up with pain in places that don't even seem related to your feet. So what's the fix? Start training your feet. Try barefoot or minimalist shoe training for lifts like squats and deadlifts. Add toe splay exercises, short foot drills, and calf raises with full foot engagement. The stronger your feet, the more stable and powerful your entire body becomes. Alright, now let's talk about a mistake that's slowly breaking down your joints every single workout. You love your favorite lifts: bench press, squats, deadlifts. But doing the same exercises with the same grip, stance, and angle every time, that's how you create overuse injuries. See, your body is great at compensating, and when you load the same movement patterns over and over, certain muscles take on too much stress while others stay weak. Over time, this leads to imbalances, inflammation, and eventually, injury. You ever wonder why some lifters get shoulder pain from years of bench pressing? It's because they never change their grip, angle, or movement variations. The fix? Rotate your exercises. Instead of flat bench every time, mix in incline, decline, and dumbbell variations. Swap out traditional deadlifts with trap bar or sumo deadlifts. Add neutral grip pressing, different squat stances, and mobility drills to keep everything balanced. When you train smart, you train pain-free. But even with the perfect exercise variety, there's another imbalance that can wreck your body, and that's ignoring your antagonist muscles. If you're serious about training smarter and avoiding setbacks, hit that like button and subscribe. This one is huge. Every muscle has an opposing muscle group that keeps it in balance. But if one side is way stronger than the other, it pulls your joints out of alignment and sets you up for injury. Example, people who train chest way more than back end up with rounded shoulders and shoulder pain. Guys who hammer their quads but skip hamstrings? Knee injuries waiting to happen. And here's the real issue. You won't notice the damage until it's too late. The fix? Match your pushing and pulling volume. If you're pressing a lot, add extra pulling work like rows, face pulls, and rear delt exercises. If you're hitting heavy squats, make sure your hamstrings and glutes are equally strong. Strengthen both sides of every joint and your body will be built to last. But even if you're training everything evenly, there's still one thing that can destroy your body: bad breathing. Breathing? Sounds basic, right? But here's the thing. Most people breathe completely wrong when lifting, and it's wrecking their core stability. If you're not bracing properly, your spine is taking more force than it should, and that's a recipe for back injuries. A lot of lifters either hold their breath incorrectly or breathe shallowly from their chest instead of their diaphragm. This leads to weak bracing, unstable lifts, and extra strain on your lower back. The fix? Learn to brace properly. Before a heavy lift, take a deep breath into your belly, expand your core 360 degrees, and hold that pressure. This creates a natural weightlifting belt inside your body, protecting your spine and making you way stronger. Get this right, and you'll instantly feel more powerful under heavy weight. But even with perfect breathing, you can't go all out every workout. Your body isn't built for it. Look, pushing yourself is great, but if you're going all out every single session, your body never gets the recovery it needs. Lifting heavy too often beats up your joints, drains your nervous system, and skyrockets your injury risk. You might feel fine now, but over time, it adds up, and suddenly, you're dealing with chronic pain or a torn muscle. The key? Train smart. Rotate between heavy, moderate, and light days. Deload every few weeks. Listen to your body. When you give yourself the right balance of intensity and recovery, you'll make faster progress with fewer injuries. And before we wrap up, there's one more hidden mistake that could be sabotaging you: your daily habits. Bad posture isn't just about looking hunched over, it's messing up your entire movement chain. If you sit all day with tight hips and a rounded upper back, guess what? That's exactly how you're lifting too. Tight hip flexors wreck your squat depth, poor shoulder mobility kills your overhead press, and weak posture creates compensations that lead to injuries. The fix? Fix your posture outside the gym. Take breaks from sitting, stretch your hip flexors, strengthen your rear delts and core, and make sure your body is moving well before you even touch a barbell. Most gym injuries don't come from one big mistake. They sneak up on you slowly. A weak stabilizer here, a tight joint there, until one day, something snaps. But now you know the hidden traps. Fix these mistakes, train smart, and your body will stay injury-free for the long haul.